What's up guys, this is 1UX1. Today we're talking about real world exposure to a UX design environment. What does it look like to work with a UX team? So one of the things you have to do is know an acceptance criteria. Acceptance criteria is knowing what you're going to complete and how you know you've done that task. So if you're wireframing for a design solution, how do you know it's going to be the correct one? So what we do, we have an AAC, an acceptance criteria, so you can be accountable and tell your managers, your product owners, right, this task is done. Or they'll say, how do you know you've done your task? So you say, right, we will sign it off because now the design is complete and 90% of users are satisfied, or it's been tested with 90% of users, or we had run usability tests and there were no issues from the users. Now we know it's been accepted, and that's your acceptance criteria. So whenever you do a task in UX design or UX research, you're researching something, you need to know what does defined look like. What does it mean that you've completed the task, so that it can be signed off by a manager and say, right, this task is done. It might be on a Jira board or GitHub or any of those technical apps, and you just complete the ticket and say, right, done. The next one is RAID. RAID is about risks, assumptions, issues, and dependencies. So in your job, this is an IT terminology, but you do work with IT developer teams, so you need to know what this is. So you need to mention any risks there are, i.e. software issues. There may be issues in terms of the project being delayed or any staff being unavailable. So you make assumptions and you say, right, this is what we assume this will be completed, this task in this sprint or the next sprint. We'll be able to complete it because we have all the user needs. So you make assumptions that users need this project to be completed because these are the things that users were finding as a pain point, and now we're assuming this is what we're going to be completing on based on that information. Issues, are there any issues in you not being able to complete this task in this sprint? You need to mention those things. And dependencies are, is there anything that you need to complete this task that you don't have? So what are you depending on? What do you not have? What information is not available to you? Are there any other teams? For example, you might design something, but the developers are too busy to complete it. So you'd say, well, my dependency is that the developers be available to code this and build the MVP, the minimum viable product that you can then test in usability testing. So this is something that we always work on. The next one is epics and stories. Epics and stories are about the bigger pictures in epic. So let's say you are redesigning a whole page. Let's say it's a contact us page. That would be an epic, and in there would be stories. A story would be something like improving the box that users fill in, so the text box, and say the call to action. That would be one story. So story is a smaller part and the epic is the larger part. Now another example of that would be, let's say you're setting up a email facility for users. So you might have to look at the stories, writing an email, reading emails and deleting emails, the functions. They're all individual stories, and then the bigger picture would be the whole managing email. So managing email would be the epic, and the stories would be the smaller bits, as you can see here in these boxes. So all that functionality would be an individual story. And you may complete that one of those stories in one of the sprints. So in a week or two, you design that solution. Now you need to look at a roadmap of UX design and UX research. What are you going to research? What are you going to design? And your managers, your stakeholders will want to know what you're going to be doing in the next 3 months, which is near horizon, mid horizon, 6 months, and then 12 months and beyond is far horizon. So they're going to expect you to tell them, right, what are you going to be doing in the year? So you can say, right, in the near horizon, in the next 3 months, I'm going to be working on these stories. 6 months, we're looking at these epics, so the bigger pictures. And then in a year, we want to accomplish this. This is really important when you're working in a team. And you can do that, and you can get help if you have a service designer as well. They look at the bigger picture of the whole project. You can always get help from them. And another advice is to always use templates that already exist. So whenever you join a company, they'll have files that they already have created from the past, or a colleague that's left the job. And you can use those as templates in PowerPoint or Keynote and edit them and improve them. And so you don't have to do everything from scratch. You can cheat and you can use other people's work. There's nothing wrong with that as long as you add in your information and relevant and up-to-date information. I hope that was useful, guys. Don't forget to download our free UX design and UX research guides, and subscribe, like and follow for this whole series of short videos to help you get into your UX career. See you on the next one. Thank you.